Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to start the poem Ode to the West Wind by Percy Bysshe Shelley. स्टैंजा नंबर फर्स्ट हम पहले वीडियो में पढ़ चुके हैं. सो स्टैंजा नंबर सेकंड. BC. Thou, on whose stream mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed. In this stanza, the poet tells how the west wind blows from the sky to the earth. He compares the clouds which float on the surface of the west wind to the leaves which fall on the earth. Shook from the tangled woes of heaven and ocean. We can understand these lines by imagining that there is a vast tree whose roots are in the ocean and whose branches are high up in the sky. From the branches of this tree fall clouds in the same way as rotten leaves fall from an ordinary tree. These clouds from that tree fall on the surface of the west wind just as rotten leaves from a tree fall on the earth below. Angels of rain and lightning. These clouds fall on the surface of the west wind when there is unrest or tumult in the sky. When the sky shows stormy condition, these clouds are messengers of rain and lightning. They are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge. The poet says that the black hair of the storm is spread on the blue waves of the surface of the west wind. Like the bright hair uplifted from the head of the some fierce maned even from the dim birds of the horizon to the zenith's height, locks of the approaching storm. The hair of storm covers the surface of the west wind all the way from the horizon to the highest point in the sky. The hair of the storm spread in this way is just like the disordered hair of some intoxicated female followers of Bacchus, the god of wine. What the poet means is that as his eyes travel from the horizon to the highest point in the sky above, the appearance of the sky indicates to him that a storm is getting ready to blow. Thou didst of the dying year. The poet imagines that the whistling sound of the west wind to be the dirge of the dying year. The year is dying. The west wind is the funeral song over the death of the year, to which this closing night will be the dome of vast sepulchre, vaulted with all thy. A huge tomb will also be erected over the dead year. The darkness of the night, which is spreading over the earth, will serve as the dome of that tomb. Thy congregated might of vapors from whose solid atmosphere black rain and fire and hail will burst o'er. The collective strength of the clouds will be the arched roof of the tomb. From the cold seeming vapors or clouds in the sky will fall rain, lightning and lighting and hailstones. In the end, the poet appeals to the west wind to hear him. Stanza number third. Thou who didst waken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean, where he lay. The poet personifies the Mediterranean Sea. He regards it as a living being who had gone to sleep and who had been dreaming throughout summer till in autumn The west wind awakened him from sleep and interrupted his dreams. The poet says that the west wind disturbed the Mediterranean in his sleep. During summer, the lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams beside a pumic isle in Bay's Way. During summer, the Mediterranean soothed by the pleasant sound of bright rivers which fell into his waters, had gone to sleep near an island made of lava in Bay's Way, not far from Naples. In his sleep, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers querying within the waves' intenser day. In his sleep, Mediterranean had dreams. From the dreamful sleep, the Mediterranean was aroused by the violence of the west wind. In his sleep, the Mediterranean dreamed of old palaces and towers slightly trembling in the bright and clear light of the ocean, where moss and flowers of such overpowering sweetness grow that the very thought of them would make us feel drowsy. Quarrying within the waves' intenser day, all overgrown with azure moss and flowers so sweet that sense friends picturing then. Sweetness grow that very thought of them would make us feel drowsy. Thou, for whose path the Atlantic's level powers cleave themselves into chasm. The poet describes the effect of the west wind on the Atlantic Ocean. He says that when the west wind blows on the Atlantic, its water is agitated. Waves rise to one side and waves rise right to other side. Between these waves, hollows are produced. While far below the blooms and the oozy woods which wear the shapeless foliage of the ocean. Between these waves, hollows are produced. Before the west wind blew, the surface of the Atlantic was level, but now it would seem as if the Atlantic has cut a path on its surface so that the west wind may pass over it. The poet then describes the effect of the west wind on the vegetation at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The plants at the bottom of the ocean are damp, but they have no shape in them. Shapeless foliage of the ocean know the voice of suddenly grow grey with fear and tremble and despoil themselves here. The plants at the bottom, but they have no shape in them. When the west wind begins to blow, those plants at once become aware of its arrival. They begin to tremble with fear and shed their leaves, just as in autumn the trees shed their leaves. Similarly, the plants at the bottom of the ocean also shed their leaves. Hence, the plants stand in great terror of the wind. Okay, thank you.